thank you so much for being on my Mod Rock Jam podcast. And I still need to make Mirrors my alarm song, especially when you sing Wake Up Now. I'm like, I think that will bring me energy to actually wake up.
Yes.
I want to say congrats on, your South by Southwest gig. If you could create a festival, who would you like to add?
Oh, that's in my world already. I do booking, so
Oh,
um
really?
I'll probably start with like Boy Harsher and Cold Cave,
Ooh,
I
I
would
love
say.
Cold Cave.
Yeah, that those would be my like top, I would say, headliners, I guess. Um, like even bigger, I would go for, I don't know, maybe Bauhaus or Blondie. I mean, they're
And they're
doing,
coming on tour. That's
yeah, they're doing.
perfect. Recruit them. What
Yeah.
about you, Tanya?
I would probably get my favorites, which is AFI, Florence the Machine, Churches, um, Rufus the Soul. I mean, they're all very like from different genres, so it'd definitely be an interesting mix. But like that would be like my top four.
All right. Speaking of churches, I'm wearing a churches shirt right here.
Oh, oh my gosh! I should have worn mine. We could have been.
Right? We're April baby twins and we're churches twins. Actually, you saw them in concert and you got a set list. So what is it about Lauren
Yes.
Mayberry that inspires you about her performance as a woman in music?
So, okay, I love Lauren Mayberry. She is amazing. I just love the energy she puts out. She's really just like herself. She's not trying to put on like this front, and she lets everyone know, like, hey, I'm flawed. Like, I just almost tripped right now, which is like super hilarious, And she's just, I feel like she and I would be like besties, Like, I really feel like we would really get along together. So I just love her. Her whole charisma is just, yeah.
Let's make that into a reality show. I'm surprised none of you mentioned Meg Myers, who you also previously played before at a festival. Like how did that happen?
We got it through the radio station 91X. I'm close friends with Tim Piles. He does all the local bands, and like he'll like if he likes your band, he'll like play your band on the radio during local hour. And yeah, I submitted Mirrors, and yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll play it. And then he invited us to the to the radio station, and he did a small interview. And then after that, I guess we got selected to be, they do this thing called the like 91X local break, and they'll like pick a local band and they'll play your song on like during normal times, radio time, like throughout the month. So we got that thing, and then the 91X show, they had booked Meg Myers for the month, and they're like, well, it makes sense to like put the local break on the show. So that's how we got that show. Yeah, it was super fun show. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I come from a radio background, so I really love when radio gives back to the community. So we don't always hear the A-lister bands, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But also it's just like, hey, don't forget about the little guys here that are trying to, be radio stars as well.
Right, right. Yeah.
Mm.
And Tanya, congratulations on just like striving to get your bachelor's degree.
Yes, almost done next month. So I'm like, just need to get through one grueling group project and one online class, and that's it. Then I'm done. I have my associates in communications with an emphasis in advertising. So I'm excited.
So I don't mean to scare you, but I finished college a couple years ago, and you're gonna still get nightmares about projects being late and you have to study for exams and there's going to be a final essay. Like I still wake up, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not in college anymore.
Now, until that just isn't a reality anymore and it's just a dream I can wake up from.
Yeah.
So yeah, every moment I'm just on edge because I'm like, okay, what's due today? Is there anything due tomorrow? Like, what do I have to prepare for next week?
Yeah. What blazer am I supposed to wear?
Right? Like, where am I?
So I want to know because, you know, when I wake up from my nightmares of school, I'm like, how am I going to juggle homework and my actual job and blah, blah, blah. So how do you manage? How's your schedule?
Well, I'm very lucky that my husband, you know, has allowed me to go back to college. And by allow, I mean like he's supporting me right now through all of it. So really, that helps a lot. I wake up early, like at 7 a.m, and just have a to-do list and go through it. Luckily, this semester isn't as hectic, which is why I was able to go on like the mini tour and South by Southwest. So it's been not so hectic this semester, but in the past, it's been very hard to stay organized, but I managed to get through it somehow. So,
right. Man, I think back when I was in school, and I mean, I studied broadcast communication, so I mean, I guess it's a little easier compared to most majors. So I got away with like cutting class to go to concerts. Yes, I was one of those students. I saw on your Instagram you shared a post about the music workshop that you were doing, and as a whole, I want to know when it comes to crafting a song, what is usually the challenge? Is it writing the chorus, the bridge, the verse? What's the challenge about the creative process?
I think for me, the most challenging part is the bridge. I always leave that part for last, just because it's got to be like catchy enough, but not like too catchy to where it takes away from the chorus. So just finding that balance and finding that switch that goes into the bridge, I think is the most challenging. On top of, you know, not being too personal, being metaphorical with it. So yeah, when it comes to lyric writing, I think that for me is the challenging part.
What about you, Anthony?
For me, I feel like it's always a final phase of it, um, that like when I'm like, okay, this song is done. Because I feel like I could write the hook and then I'll write the verse and I'll write everything, and then once I have everything layered, like structured out, I'm like, okay, what else can I add to it? And that's when I'm like picking my brain even more. I'm like, okay, no, this needs something else. And then, but I also like try to leave it. I don't try to like overwhelm the song. Um, so kind of just stay in the lane of not to overdo it. And that I feel like that's the hardest part. But I mean, writing a hook is also hard because like not everything you write is will be great. So also, yeah, I guess a little bit of both, like finding writing that one good hook, and then the final phase of like, okay, this song doesn't need anything else. Like we're done with it.
Think I was listening to an interview with the songwriter Richard Marx, and he was writing a song, and he kind of was going through that same phase, like, is it done? Like, is it good? Like, I don't know. And he got Sarah Bareilles, and he's like, what do you think? She's like, you're finished, you're completed. Like, like don't overthink it. Anthony, you seem to be the traveler. I'm looking at your Instagram. You're always going to different fascinating countries. So if Glass Spells were to tour outside, where would you like to go? Where would you like to perform? What's your dream country performance?
Oh, that's a hard question. I've played Mexico before, and just the people there are amazing. The crowd is just like it's nuts. And I grew up border to Mexico, so it's like it's almost like home. So I really want to play Mexico. Um, but I also I I hear that in France, people love electronic music, and yeah, like if you think about it, like all the big electronic artists come from France. Daft Punk and Justice. Well, at least for me, those are like one of my top favorites in that area of electronic music. But yeah, I feel like in France would be cool to tour. I mean, it's small,
What
but
about
yeah,
you, Tanya?
France for sure. Just that and England. Because the same reason as Anthony, like electronic music and also post-punk music is from England. So I think we do really well there. And on top of that, I really would like to visit England and France. So a little selfish there.
Right, make a vacation out of it. Now, I really like that you pointed that out, Anthony and Tanya, about like Europe is really huge on electronic music. We had, I believe, the second British invasion in the 80s was new wave, and we had bands like New Order and Depeche Mode. And usually when we think about electronic music, we think about the white UK bands. And I want to know, being your culture and growing up in the Mexicali music scene and being minorities yourself, do you find that you're breaking boundaries in this genre?
I guess I would say yeah. But there's also I feel like there's electronic, there's Latin electronic music, but it's more lean to like Latin pop. Um, so there is Latin electronic music, but it is really different than ours. So yeah, I would say that yes, I guess we are breaking boundaries because we are really different from like any. I mean, I'm sure there's Mexican electronic bands, but I don't think I've heard like anyone like us, I would say.
Yeah, just to add to that, I've definitely I know that there is like Spanish rock, which is like Spanish synth pop. We don't have a Spanish song, but like in terms of the genre, I do feel like we are breaking that boundary of the whole. It doesn't have to be in Spanish for it to be, like you don't have to. How should I put this? Like you don't have to sound a certain way for you to still express yourself or let your culture be a part of it. Like you can just have that synth pop sound. You can sing in English and you can still stay true to your roots just by letting people know that, hey, you don't have to fit a mold. You can break out of that mold and you can be who you want, be where you want. But yeah, I do find that there is a lot more of that coming out. Like you see bands like Twin Tribes, who is also Mexican. They're out there and they're killing it right now. Bone, she's also Mexican. So I just think we need more visibility in that area.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just got excited because, well, when I first saw your name, Glass Spells, I'm like, I bet you they're a new wave pop synth band. Like something told me, and then I checked you guys out. I was like, they're Hispanic. Yes. I was like, we're getting representation.
Yeah.
And you just dropped your album Shattered, and I did read that the music video, like one of your location was also the same location as that 80s movie Top Gun. So if you if you could have your song in any movie or even TV show, where would you like to hear it?
I think Anthony and I can both agree that Stranger Things would be really freaking cool.
Yeah,
Am I?
Stranger Things and American Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
Hey, and I think they're finishing the production of the Top Gun sequel. So hey, that could be another goal. We see Glass Spells in a Top Gun soundtrack.
That'd be dope.
Right, right. It could be some sort of mashup of Take My Breath Away with Berlin.
We'll do a cover.
Yeah. So you know what I really like about your Shattered album, it's very dreamy, it's love gone sour, it's emotional, it's enchanting, there's nostalgia of, you know, 80s electronic sounds. So now that you're going on tour, you're going to be playing your music live. How does that translate from what you played on the album to your live performance? How are you going to have that same energy, that emotion, and that freshness without feeling it very repetitive? If you know if that what I mean.
As a live performance, we do add like a few like little things that aren't on the album. Like I'll play like in certain songs, I'll play like some extra leads or some extra different sounds here and there that are not on the album, just to add a little something extra for the live show. Um, our live drummer as well, he'll play the beat, but he'll also add his own like live drummer flair to it. So there's a little, definitely like a live flavor to the show instead of just the album how it is.
Yeah, and even vocally, I'll sing the song sometimes a little lower, sometimes I'll add in like an extra part that makes me sing the notes longer. Um, and it's a lot more energetic than you'd expect, I think, just because the drums add that much more energy and the vocals tend to be a little more like, how should I put it, like it just has an entirely different feel from what the album is. When you go see Glass Bells live, you're not hearing like an exact recording, you're hearing an entirely different adaptation of it.
I can't wait to see you guys live in April. Now, you're coming to San Francisco at the DNA Lounge. Have you performed in the Bay Area before?
Glass Spells played in 2016, but this like Glass Spells hasn't played yet.
My first time in the Bay Area.
Gotcha. Okay, so I was going to mention that because I know that you've had lineup changes, you've both been in previous projects. Now, personally, how do you feel that you've evolved as an artist, as a musician on an individual level, but as a whole, as a group, as Glass Spells as well?
Yeah, I mean I feel like it's been a work in progress. Like when you start fresh, like if you start fresh in a like you start a band, it's like your first band. You feel like I feel like any musician just progresses over the years, and you learn and learn how to write better songs and stuff like that. So yeah, since the beginning of when I started the project, I feel like I've been learning throughout the years, like how to write differently and like just like adding different things to the music and yeah, just like progressing like slowly until like you're there where you want to be or what you think you want to do. So it's like it's something that I always had in mind. The basically the music that I'm doing now. Um, but since it was just hard to get it accomplished with different people in the band, but now that it's kind of like a new band, like Tania's in the band and Michael's doing live drums, I feel like we can accomplish what we're doing now.
Yeah. And as for me, I feel like I've definitely grown as a singer. Just I used to be in show choir back in high school, so you know, it's very different to go from singing by yourself to singing like with a group or even doing like a solo. When I started out with my other project, it was very pop, which was very cool. You know, I love pop music, I love EDM, but Glass Balls had a different feel to it, and I did for the transition between the EP Mirrors and Shattered, I do feel like I've grown as a vocalist and as a writer, just because I'm able to add different things. I was able to add different things and do different things with my vocals that I wasn't able to do in the EP. And I think a big majority of that had to do with having time during the pandemic to just explore different sounds that my voice can make, and have being allowed the creativity to just try things out and try different different things that I wasn't really comfortable doing before. But then I just decided, F it, I'm just gonna like see where this goes. And then have Anthony there as well to give me feedback and encouragement also helped out a lot, where he's like, yeah, this sounds cool, like I like the tone you're using here. And so just working with someone else with that, and then having that encouragement, I feel has helped me grow as a vocalist, and also I think has helped Glass Bells grow as well, because and I say this all the time, I feel like with Glass Bells, Anthony's music and synths and all of that, like, and my vocals, they just seem to mesh so well. So like yeah, it's definitely been a journey, and we're not done yet. So I'm really excited to see how much more will grow from here.
Right, you're the peanut butter and jelly, you're the yin to the yang. I'm just glad that the pandemic obviously didn't stop your creativity. I think it probably inspired it more. Now, Anthony, you have your other project, Twin Ritual, is also fronted by a woman. How's it like working with strong, independent women?
It feels natural to me. I guess I don't know. I feel like I do get asked that question, like, how does it feel like to work with women? But I feel like I know like some dudes feel like, oh, like I'm a guy, I'm better than you or whatever. But I've never really felt that way. Like I like like I don't know. I like female vocals in general. I listen to a lot of music with female vocals. I also like um male vocals, but I just feel like it's something that I can work with, and it's I mean it's been great. And yeah, Laura is a great singer. She's a great musician. I always tell her I'm in that group. I feel like I always tell them, I'm like, dude, you guys are better musicians than I am. Like I didn't even go to music school or anything. They did. I just feel like I learned by myself, and I guess just by ear and naturally, like writing songs like yeah. They know what they're doing, like, but I'm like, I feel like I do my own thing and writing the songs how I think they sound good. They know it by like, oh, we're gonna do this note with this note. I'm like, if you're saying that.
That's a
um
gift though, like, picking it by ear. I was just listening to the radio station, and Phil Collins, he doesn't read notes. He's just like, he goes by ear. He's like, wait, like, how do you want me to play it that way? Okay, got it. And so,
yeah.
that's its own technical gift. And it's funny because I think people in broadcasting, they like music, they don't know how to play it, but they're like, hey, I have a good ear for good music. So I think that's where my talent lies.
Nice.
So you're from San Diego, and my podcast is Mod Rock Jam. So what should we be listening to from San Diego, other than Glass Bills, of course?
Twin Ritual.
Mannequin's cool. There's not a synth pop in San Diego, which is what like makes this like so hard. And
I like the
like
Chvrches. They're
oh yeah,
more they're more rock driven, more post punk rock. But I like their songwriting a lot. They're really talented, I think, and yeah, they know more than me for sure.
So it sounds like you're breaking also barriers in San Diego, because if there's not a lot of a synth wave scene, we actually in San Francisco, we do have a small growing synth new wave scene, which I'm like super excited for. I'm like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. It's like a revival. But yeah, I'm super excited you guys are coming up this way. I'm definitely going to be at your show at DNA Lounge. Is there anything else you would like to plug about your show, about your music?
number one, the show DNA Lounge. That one is going to be fun. We're really looking forward to that. We have music videos out. I don't think a lot of people know that there's like 3 music videos from the album out. So yeah, check out our YouTube page. We have music videos there. We're gonna be well, we're gonna be coming out. We haven't announced this yet, but we're gonna be coming out with a second pressing of the vinyl soon as production speeds up a little more. So look out for more vinyl.
Awesome. All right. Well, girl, I work out to your videos. So I know they exist.
Yay, love it.
Thank you so much, Tania and Anthony, for joining.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
thanks.